The April 7th meeting of the Marion Town Council is now in session. We will be led with the invocation by Chief Clare, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. And I would like to ask Mark if he would be kind enough to lead the Pledge of Allegiance with us today. And let's begin.
Yeah, please join me in prayer. Most holy and glorious Lord God, Father, as we come before you this evening, we're first and foremost thankful for redemption in your Son. We'd ask that everything we do this evening would tend to your glory and to the good of the people in Marion. And Lord, we'd ask you to watch over all of our public servants this evening, nurses and doctors and teachers and firefighters and sanitation workers, police officers, all those who use their time and talent for the common good. We ask all that in Christ's name. Amen. Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll begin with the roll call. I see that all members are present. We'll need a motion to approve of the minutes of March 17th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? None being heard, we will vote. All in favor? It's unanimous. Motion carries. We'll need to approve the agenda for tonight. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion and second. Are there any items that need to be changed, added, deleted? I will be moving Mr. Charles Harrington up in the agenda just a little bit if that needs to be addressed, but I'm going to put him a little bit ahead so that he can take care of other matters. We have the approval of the agenda. We will begin with public presentations. We have Mark Cheney. Pardon? We did not vote? Okay, we need to vote then for the approval of the agenda. Thank you, Doctor. All in favor? Now we'll move on with public presentations. From the American Legion Post 18, Mark Cheney, and National Poppy Day Resolution. Members may come forward.
It's like herding cats.
Mark, would you like to read the resolution or will you have me do it?
Why don't you do it, Mayor?
Okay. Resolution declaring the Friday before Memorial Day as National Poppy Day in the town of Marion, Virginia. Whereas the American Legion family brought National Poppy Day to the United States by asking Congress to designate the Friday before Memorial Day as National Poppy Day, and whereas after World War I, the poppy flourished in Europe. Scientists attributed the growth to soils in France and Belgium becoming enriched with lime from the rubble left by the war. From the dirt and mud grew a beautiful red poppy. The red poppy came to symbolize the blood shed during battle following the publication of wartime poem In Flanders Fields. And whereas on September 27, 1920, the poppy became the official flower of the American Legion family to memorialize the soldiers who fought and died during the war, and whereas in 1924, the distribution of poppies became a national program of the American Legion, and whereas, led by the American Legion Auxiliary, each year members of the American Legion family distribute poppies with a request that the person receiving the flower make a donation to support the future of veterans, active duty military personnel, and their families with medical and financial needs. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Town Council of Marion, Virginia, that Friday before Memorial Day be hereby officially designated as National Poppy Day. And on that day, all citizens are urged to wear a red poppy to honor the fallen and support the living who have worn our nation's uniform. Resolved this 7th day of April, 2025.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Hold on.
Okay, we have a public present. Oh, I thought we, yes,
We did
okay.
last time. I'll make a motion, we approve the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any discussion necessary?
No.
None being heard, we will vote. Everyone in favor? All in favor, it's unanimous. Sorry, I thought we voted for that the last time. Oh, okay. Well, you let me know if we need to do anything. Okay, so thank you very much, the members of the American Legion Post, for showing up tonight and for everything that you do for the community. We will continue with Virginia Clean Cities EV Charger Grant with Tara Ketterson. Hi, Tara.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
Very good.
Good. I brought a presentation today. Let me know if I need to set that up.
Do we have your drive? We do?
Yes,
Okay.
we do. Apologies. While they get that started, my name is Tara Kesterson. I'm with Virginia Clean Cities. I'm new to Southwest Virginia with the program. I've been here for 20 years working. I grew up in Tazewell County. Graduated from Honecker High School, went to Emory and Henry and stuck around for a little while. Worked in local news for a decade. Spent a decade with the Virginia Department of Energy. And just a disclaimer before I start my presentation, I've been with Virginia Clean Cities for 3.5 months. So if there are questions that come up that I cannot answer for you tonight, I'll be sure to talk to the technical experts on my team and get back to you on those. I live in Bristol right now. My husband's a small business owner. We have a 9-year-old daughter, so I'm really excited to bring these programs to Southwest Virginia and to meet with communities like yours and talk about opportunities, especially through economic development, and to help the economy thrive a little.
Which one?
It's the Marion Town Council. You know, there are some blasting videos that are also exciting to watch. And if you want to go ahead and move to that slide number 2, that would be great.
Slide number 2.
Just a little bit about Clean Cities. It is a national program, and the goals are really economic prosperity, energy security, and we look to do those both through domestic supply in transportation. That's our focus, is in transportation. When you hear Clean Cities, I often get asked to bring solar panels to town, and I don't have access to that, but I can get you somebody that can help you with that if that is your goal. But also, by combining those goals, we can reduce emissions through both. That's just a bonus. And you probably know that transportation is the greatest contributor to emissions across the United States. So decarbonizing transportation would make a big impact. If you can go to the next slide, please. And this is just a look at some of the accomplishments across the nation since the Clean Cities and Communities was created. Actually, in 1992 was when the national program was created. And then the next slide is just a look at where we are across the nation. And Virginia is really unique, as most states have regional offices. So East Tennessee has its own office compared to West Tennessee, but Virginia covers the entire state. So we have a good collaboration, especially when it comes to stakeholders, and these are people that supply these domestic fuels, so we have a good network there as well. On the next slide, just a little bit more about Virginia Clean Cities. Of course, we're based at James Madison University, and we're also under the U.S. Department of Energy's Vehicle Technologies Office, so we do receive some federal funding. So that's good news for you guys. We have some opportunities for you through that funding. And we also have a nonprofit side of operations, and that's to be able to collect donations through stakeholders. We have 9 people, 3 interns, running all the programs that we offer. And I just want to point out that Virginia Clean Cities is fuel neutral. We get the most questions about electric vehicles these days, but any of the alternative fuels we're excited to talk to communities and fleets about. So this is just how the region is divided among our staff, and I'm that lovely lemon yellow color there in the west. And I was hired as part of the Clean Cities expansion. They were doing it across the nation. And really, they just wanted to get their programs here in Southwest Virginia. And since I'm a native and know a lot of these fine people that live here and love this community, I got the job. So here I am, sharing all these programs and great opportunities with you guys. But tonight, if you can go to the next slide, I want to talk to you about the Rural Reimagine program. This is specific to Appalachian communities, so it would be a great opportunity for Marion. We do have demonstration vehicles, so we have 2 electric vehicles that are available for you to check out and try if you're thinking about maybe electrifying one of your fleet cars or something like that to see how it works in your community and if it works for you. So you can check that out for a month if you want. The program also offers free level 2 charging stations, and that's something we'd like to put here in Marion. And those stations come with up to $2,000 in reimbursement fees for the installation. That can get pricey depending on how far you are to access to electricity. This program does end in October, so decisions have to be made a little quicker than probably others. But level 2 chargers, they can be placed in areas where EV users can spend just a few hours to charge. And then a study from MIT actually showed that chargers near points of interest, such as your restaurants, your downtown, your hotels, they can increase spending up to about 3.2% annually, because you're bringing in new guests, new attractions, new people maybe you haven't targeted before. This program is open to private and public entities both. So the top photo is a cidery that just signed up to get a charger at their spot. And the bottom's at Virginia, who just submitted their site host agreements for 3 different spots within that city. This photo is from your neighbors not too far away down in Saltville. They participated in the Rural Reimagine program, so if you have a connection there and want some insight, they may be able to offer some advice. If you do agree to be a site host, there are a few requirements. Of course, you will have to prepare the site. The installation is going to be up to you, and we can recommend installers or electricians if you don't have one in mind to help you get that charger installed and working. We ask that it has public access and that you share a summary of the data collected. We're not looking for hard numbers, but if you can say, you know, we think 5 people use this, or maybe 45 people use this month. That's just some information that we like to collect to make sure that what we're doing is working. And the commitment is for about 5 years, or it is 5 years. And then after that, it belongs to the town. If you don't have success with it, you can get rid of it, but if it serves you well, then definitely keep it, and it's yours to do what you would want to with after that. Of course, you have to operate and maintain the charger once you sign that agreement. Next slide, please. And this is just a look at some of the sample chargers. You can get wall-mounted chargers. We, drove around looking for great sites. The parking garage was clearly one that's wonderful. If you put a wall-mounted charger there, it'd be a very low installation fee. And then we also have the pedestal chargers, whatever works best for the locations that you think would be best for these charging stations. You can choose to network them, which means you get on a system where you accept a credit card and whoever's charging pays for that electricity. And you can, up it a little bit to actually make a profit off of it. Now, the cidery I mentioned, they're just gonna put a Venmo code on theirs and say, you know, if you charge, it's $10 or $20. That's really up to you if you want to deal with the networking issues that I'm sure you're familiar with if you've used any kind of credit card system. We do currently just have 2 fast charging stations left in this program, which are also free for site hosts. They charge a lot faster than the level 2s. The level 2 chargers, usually people want at least 2 to 4 hours downtown to charge those and get a few miles on their car. And the fast chargers is about 45 minutes. I have a Ford Lightning that I've been using through this program, and it takes about 45 minutes, 0 to 200 miles at the Pinnacle fast charging station in Bristol. So if that's something you are interested in, the site needs to have that 3-phase power. Just consider that if you'd like to install a DC fast charger. And there's only 2 left for the program. The installation reimbursement's a little extra, $7,000, just because it usually takes more to get those installed. Next slide, please. So the process is really very simple. We get the site assessment, and that serves as your NEPA approval. If you're familiar with NEPA, that's usually anytime you move dirt, you have to get that kind of approval from the U.S. Department of Energy. So this is, EV charging stations are a categorical exclusion, so your site host assessment form takes care of that. And once that is approved, the site host agreement is submitted, and we're partners with Tennessee Tech. And so they are over the program, and they handle all that paperwork for us, and we'll work directly with you too. Of course, we would be here to advise you the entire way throughout the process. Chargers would be shipped after that site host agreement is signed to you here in Marion, and then once you install it, you will send your reimbursement to Tennessee Tech, and they'll get you that $2,000 back, or if you do the fast charger, that's $7,000. And one other program I wanted to mention to you guys tonight is the Mid-Atlantic Electrification Partnership. That also provides free chargers to communities, public, private. Very similar, it just doesn't come with installation reimbursement fees, but it also works directly with Virginia Clean Cities. You don't have to go through Tennessee Tech. So it's a little bit of a faster pace in getting your chargers and getting your approvals and things like that, if you are in a hurry to get those installed. The site assessments, we're looking for these to be in by May 30th. We'll order all the chargers in June, and then we'll deliver them on site, and we ask that the installation be completed by September 30th. So just so you know, we are tracking the data, and a lot of people are choosing to buy and use EVs. In fact, we're seeing a steady 40% growth every year on EV purchases. There's over 100,000 registered EV users in the state of Virginia. So plenty of chances to have someone stop in Marion and charge their vehicle, eat downtown, go to the General Francis. Next slide, please. And this is just a map of where the charging stations exist right now. So we want to put another green dot on that map. My goal is to get a great little network throughout Southwest Virginia. So I'm working from Roanoke to Lee County to try and get these chargers installed. But once you do install them, they'll show up on these tools that EV users have in their cars when they plan their trips, and they'll know, oh, I can stop in Marion and grab lunch and they get a charge on my car. Next one, please. I just want to throw this little nugget out here because we are fuel neutral. If you are considering saving money on your fleet, that's something else that we assist with. Technical look at it. We can run an audit report kind of and look at how much money you could save if you switch to propane or compressed natural gas or something like that. But because we do serve all of these, just wanted to make sure you knew that was an opportunity as well. And of course, you don't have to take my word for it. There's a lot of great sites that I hope you'll take the time to check out as to why EV charging can boost your economy, your community, and other opportunities for clean fuels if you choose to do so within the town, and what it can do for you. Next slide. Also part of the Clean Communities expansion, we need to complete a transportation needs assessment for one community. And I thought Marion would be a great community to do that with. I've already talked with Mountain Links about this because we're looking at public transportation and just other things within the town that we could just really assess. This is something conducted by Virginia Clean Cities. It'll be presented to the town at the end of, when we're done, to just inform you about where the community stands on domestic fuels and access to things like charging stations that we're talking about tonight. Of course, our overall goal is to reduce carbon emissions, but really that goes hand in hand with cost savings for communities and also economic drivers to bring more people into your downtown or to boost your economy and spend their money here. Basically what we'll do is just schedule a few public meetings with transportation leaders, community groups, businesses, the town, and we may do a few one-on-ones just with, you know, the transportation leaders in your region, or anyone that you recommend that you think may have a great impact in, you know, what the plan should be. We would like to do some community surveys and town hall type meetings just to gather information, and then of course we'll produce that report and present it to a town. It's about a year-long process, if that's something you guys would like to support. So I am happy to take any questions, or you can take down my information and email me after tonight if that works better for you guys. But I do thank you for the opportunity to talk about this with you, and hopefully we'll be in touch soon about getting you in charge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Tara, thank you very much. Very nice presentation. Is there any action required by council, or what is your pleasure? I believe in 2023, we addressed a program with Kendra Hayden and Smith County, and Mr. Heath's office took point on that. Don't want to put him on the spot, but do you have anything to say in response?
It was me for over 30 years, so should be happy to be here, whether she likes it or not.
I haven't
Okay.
had trouble working with Ken.
All right. Just want to make sure we touched all bases.
Is there anything that we need to go ahead and set a motion forward to do?
What is council's pleasure? I do not know.
Ken, is this the same one that we spoke about a while back that we were already approved for? So it's already been in the motion. I mean, do you think that it would be ideal to go ahead and to adopt it, or would you guys like to wait?
Which committee should it go to, or do we need to just have her start the assessment?
I believe that Ken's office has been working with
Okay,
it,
just to
so
start the assessment.
we'll just continue to let Ken take point on it if that's, I don't believe we need a motion for that.
What we'll do is I'll give it to Carol, we'll have a formal proposal, we'll present the next council meeting, with very specific locations and costs and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think
We
we'd like
wanted
to.
to gauge council's interest and see if we want to go further before we do the next step.
Yeah, I'd say it's a good idea to go ahead and proceed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Tara, thank you very much. Just want to make sure. Okay, we're going to proceed now, and we're going to move Charles Harrington up into this spot so that he can continue with what he needs to do. He's from the Marion Housing Authority, and he promised me he doesn't need more than 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Pleasure to be with you tonight. I actually have two commissioners up for reappointment. As you are aware, the commissioner is appointed by the town council. It's rather interesting the way that it's done, because when the housing authority is established by code, the council, the commissioners, after that, basically, the commissioners are allowed to stay for as long as they want, but in town, a lot of the towns, they have set terms, and our terms are 4 years. We have Brian Reed, who's been an absolute anchor of the housing authority, and Regina Roberts, who's contributed a great deal to our housing community. They're both up for appointment. I would like to ask the board to approve their reappointment for 4-year term.
I'd like to make the motion to approve both of those individuals.
Second.
I believe we need to appoint them separately.
One at a time?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to reappoint Brian Reed first.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, motion carries.
So we have Regina.
Okay. I'll make the motion to reappoint Regina Roberts to the Housing Authority.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, motion carries.
Thank you very much. Just for a little bit of information, you're aware one of the primary things that we're interested in our properties is safety and security. We've just applied for another $250 million grant for additional cameras, lighting, and security for all of our properties, which we think will be very valuable. It's been great with the police department because we've been able to find things and solve things rather quickly with the cameras that we have. So we do have that in the works. The other thing I will tell you is there's some programs going on right now that they do and don't have an effect. They can have some financial effect, but we're looking at the possibility of what they call an asset repositioning position, which slightly changes some of the funding streams. It doesn't affect the community whatsoever, but of course it does on our federal funding. And the last thing I'll tell you is that we did finish an audit, give Billy a copy of that. Our financial auditor has authority to be in exceptionally good financial condition. And again, we've gone 3 years in a row as being recognized as being one of the highest performing housing authorities in the area. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr. Marion, thank you very much, all your information. And now we will move ahead with public comment time. And the first person that we have on the list is Chet Armstrong. And if you would please, Chet, approach the podium, give us your name and address, and then the floor is yours.
Chet Armstrong, 190 Perry Lane in Atkins. Even though I don't live in town limits, I travel into the town limits every day. So as I get off exit 45, come down 16, my first visible sign is the Welcome to the Town of Marion sign. In its current state, it is not inviting at all. So I would like to make some suggestions and ideas that I have to improve the looks of that sign. The first thing you need to do, or that I would do, is you need to remove both of those shrubs on each end, just take them out. Then you need to pressure wash the brick sign and brighten it up. And the next thing I would do is to get some concrete sealer and seal those brick. If you seal the brick, then you have less trouble with the blackness of the sign in its current state now, and the mold that gets on it and things like that. It'll kind of shed that off. And then the lighting on the ground, it looks to me like it's been kind of broken a little bit. I'm not sure that it even functions, but I would like to see the town move the lighting to the top of the sign. Center your light, make you an arm that comes, get you a light that has an arm that comes out, and I think you would have a more appealing sign that way. And then you could build, I would like to see you build a new flower bed, raised flower bed, using some edgers, and plant some flowers that are annuals that bloom every year. They come back each year. And I have an example. An example for me would be some daylilies. Daylilies are very hardy. They love the sun, and they are very hardy when it comes to winter weather, as we experienced this past year. Then my next thing would be to the streetscapes where the flower boxes are at. Basically take all that monkey grass out of those and plant flowers in there. You can use a variety. You don't have to do all daylilies, but get something that blooms and has some color, so it's more inviting when you come into the town. And then Ken may be able to help me on this one. I talked to Avery about it. I didn't know if there was any facade grants available still. I know that down here, I'll use this as an example. Down here at the Yummy Yummy restaurant, their roof, it's not in real good shape. Don't know who owns the building, but I was wondering if Ken could still work on some facade grants available and maybe do something with the roof of that building as you're coming in. Actually, it's the second red light. You're turning on Main Street, you see that. It sort of jumps out at you. And along the Route 16 corridor, as you're coming in, before you approach the Town of Marion sign, I think it'd be a great idea if you could do some dogwood trees. I don't know how much property that we could work with there. You could do some pink and white and kind of alternate it. I think it would look great. I think it would improve that little stretch of highway there. Or an eastern redbud, which blooms really bright in the springtime as well. So that's kind of my ideas for some things there as you're coming in off of that main thoroughfare, off the interstate, get off at 45 and you're coming in on 16 there into the town limits. Any questions for me or anything?
Thank you.
And I think several of the things that you mentioned, the Streets Committee is already looking at. So we'll take your suggestions into account, and if we can incorporate you into this somehow, we definitely will. I'll be in touch. Thank you for coming in, and we appreciate your attention. And even if you don't live in Marion, we still serve you.
That's right.
All
Thanks so
right.
much. I appreciate it.
Chet, thank you very much. Next, we do have Gail Adkins.
Bill Atkins, 531 Cashman Street. I've got a few things to go over about transparency in this town council. Last meeting, it was blown out the window. I made a proposal with the camera system and everything I was asked to do. And one thing I'd like to know if the one you got now, was there a proposal done for it? It's not.
We never sent out an RFP.
No, we didn't.
So they just, and then you say Todd Long was here waiting. Y'all went into a closed session, then adjournment. There was nothing on the paper saying you're going to come back in open session.
You have to return to open session
It
after
did not
every
say
closed
on the
session.
paper.
Well, we always do that. That's our.
Well, you need to know, let the people know, because everybody leaves if you don't put it on there. That's something that needs to be changed. It needs to be on that paper saying you're going to come back in open session. Everybody's got my number, or most everybody, they can call me. I didn't get the chance to discuss my system or anything, which is wrong. You just like that. Should have been brought to this meeting today to vote on it, so everybody can be here. But we got a house full. I've been in business for 26 years in this town, and nothing has been bought from me except one thing. Chief Clare, would you hand these out for me, please? And this was in 2009.
Is it all the same?
Yeah. 2009, it was $18.95
Thank you.
spent. And that was by April Morgan for the town police department, for an SD card for a camera. I put in 6 proposals over my 26 years. Nothing has been bought. Nothing at all, except they right there. And it wasn't a proposal. That was just her coming in deep. And Todd was here afterwards, why wasn't I asked, to stay? Hunter, we went outside, I said, holler at me the next day, and we'll go over this, I'll explain it to you, because you're on the IT committee. Yeah, that's what I was expecting. Not to be blindsided and threw under the bus. Transparency is gone. Y'all need to get it back, because this is a full-blown case of it. It's just appalling, for me to be in business 26 years. And I'm gonna tell you, if I do get elected tomorrow, there's gonna be some change, because I tell you, I'm not a yes or no person. If I don't understand it, I'm gonna read it. I don't care if it takes you 3 months to vote. I'm gonna know what I'm voting on before it gets voted on. Not just throw it out there and say, oh, we're gonna vote, and everybody votes yes or no, or whatever. That's one reason I am running. There's gotta be something done. And as far as Todd not, telling me and blindsiding me, I asked for his resignation. Because it gets back to Bill Rush's, the same thing he did. Blindsided, put people out there, that's it. Thank you.
We thank you for your time and your comments, and we're sorry that the process wasn't to your advantage, but we will take that under consideration, and we will end. We go forward. Thank you for your time. Next we have Kayla. I'm sorry, I have a
Potholes, yeah. May I be moved to the last class?
Do you wish to be moved to last?
Yes, please.
You may be moved to last. Help me pronounce your last name, Kayla. You're Pastor Kayla to me.
Potholes.
That's why I can't say it.
I had some trouble with it too.
Okay, so we have Charles Hayden next.
My name's Charles Hayden, 726 South Church Street. I really don't know where to begin with what's going on here. But I'd like to point out that under the Dillard Rule and Code of Virginia Freedom of Information Act, a government body does not have broad general authority to adopt whatever ordinance it deems appropriate or desirable. This is a decision that was made, the Virginia Supreme Court quoted with approval from the Dillard Rule. As a result, the Dillard Rule, a government body does not have broad general authority. Now, in my opinion, under Code 18241, this appears to be a conspiracy against rights, and our rights under the Virginia Constitution has been denied by the town code. One of them and many other changes of town codes or changes in the zoning wish to get passed. Now, what Freedom of Information says about change charges, subsection L of 2.23704, prior to conducting a search for records, the public body shall notify the requestee in writing that the public may make reasonable charges. That was not stated when given to me at the time I made my request, but sent an email with an invoice stating a charge of $75. An email is not putting something in writing. Then the email invoice was mailed after I was given the information stating the charge under Code 2.2-3700 of the FOIA Act. All public bodies and their officials and employees shall make reasonable effort to reach an agreement with the requester concerning the production of records requested. Never had that conversation. I do not believe getting on a computer, pulling up a file, hitting a key to copy a file on a zip drive would take the amount of time to justify a $75 charge. This is, in my opinion, a way to discourage the public from asking for records. Now, the Freedom of Information Act rights and responsibilities says, as of July 2023, the right and responsibility statements must include a written policy explaining how the public body assesses charges for accessing and searching for a request record and noting the current fee to be charged, if any. I don't think y'all have that policy that state law and Freedom of Information says you must have. Each public body may set its own policy within the cost limits allowed under Freedom of Information Act. Not your own amount you wish to have, but under the Freedom of Information law. Then in 2.2-3704.2, public bodies are to designate FOIA request officer. Under Part F, the name, contact information of a FOIA request officer trained by legal counsel of the public body. in plain English writing, as the law says these laws are supposed to be, that does not say the lawyer can be the FOIA request. He is to be the legal counsel, training the person. So there again, you're violating your own codes, you're violating the state law, you're violating the Freedom of Information Act. But it seems to be okay with this council. Another way to add no transparency to what y'all are doing. Now, with that being said, this is my opinion about what I've read. And I invite any one of you, or all of you, to look at the same codes, same laws I do. I'm not going to take the time to read them today because I think it's y'all's responsibility to read them and find them. Now, I've lived here at my present address for 28 years plus. I have never in all that time, from the time I bought my house, our transparency, our overbearing zoning laws, our roadblocks put in when we ask for information has completely disintegrated to where it almost takes the acts of Congress to get the town to actually work with us. And another statement before I'm done. It's been put in the Smith County News that I am a frequent critic of the town. Well, I've got news for you people. I love this town. I hate to move, but it's getting to the point, it looks like I'm going to have to. Because I do not like what's happening in this town. But I am not a critic of the town. I'm a critic of the council. I'm for the people of this town. That's the only reason I'm speaking up. But right now, every move that y'all are making is to shut us up. Now, from there, I'm about done. But I would like Chief Clare to give this to the mayor. Huh? Just him. He's the head of the council. Now, I will read it. For the town of Marion, Virginia. My name is Charles Henry Hayden. My address is 726 South Church. This statement is to inform the town that my property is posted. I am formally requesting that no town employee, police, town official, or council person enter my property without my invitation or have a court order or a court warrant to be delivered in person on entry, dated April 7, 2025. Thank you.
We appreciate your comments, and that brings to mind that I do time these comments, and we gave you latitude because I know that you had a lot to say. I hope that we'll take all of these things into consideration as we move forward. And Mr. Finnick, is there anything that you wish to address there?
Well, again, 3704.2, I've stated what it says in the past. The code hasn't changed from the last time that I read it. And when you look at paragraph E, you can't just read particular words. You have to read the whole paragraph. And it doesn't limit who can serve as a FOIA officer. With regards to the charges, in this case, an email was sent by Flav to Mr. Hayden, and he afterwards came and spoke with Flav. Flav informed him, and he came up and picked up his disk. It was not a simple process. The system that the town uses it's a new system, so it wasn't just an easy matter of going and finding it. It was a process that Todd Long was the one that had to spend a little time to discover. When Flav relayed the information to me that there was a request, I came and spoke to him and asked him, are you able to get this information? He said, no. I spoke with Samantha White. She said no, and she wasn't aware of anyone on the town staff that could get it, but for Todd Long. Todd Long was on vacation. He was contacted. There was a meeting between the four of us to find out if he could walk us through it or Flav through it. He said no. So when he got back from vacation, he and I did get onto the system, and he was able to eventually get it. That, with regards to a recording, that's not going to be a problem now. The town has a YouTube page and is submitting it. So if someone were to ask, and an easy response would be, hey, get on YouTube, become a subscriber. The town has a form to file. That form does come to myself and to Cindy Stanley, so that if one of us happened to be gone, there's going to be another person that would know if something had come in. The town is doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Okay, and as far as the posting of Mr. Hayden's property,
That doesn't impact emergency services. That does not impact police. That does not impact the reading his water meter. If he's concerned about that, the town can disconnect the meter, and he doesn't have to worry about the town coming to look at the meter.
okay. But we will respect your privacy otherwise. And thank you for your comments. It's time to move on. And we have Tom Hauer. Tom Hauer would like to speak with us. Let's not proceed with civil discourse. I would like to go ahead and follow this. I can give some latitude, but I'm interested in what you have to say, sir.
Okay, well, I hadn't planned on mentioning this, but I was interested in what was the lady's name? First of all, my name is Tom Hauer. I live at 218 North Church Street. And Tara here with Clean Virginia. I had a conversation with her and Ken Heath about a couple weeks ago about what she was proposing in terms of the level 2 charging station. And for somebody who has an EV and travels a little bit, you know, trying to figure out where to spend the night, if that hotel has an EV charging point, that is a big plus. And I think it would be a benefit to our community to have that available. At least, but a marginal difference on the large scale, but a big difference for owners who are traveling using EVs. Okay, the second reason I'm here, I guess I've heard through the grapevine that there was some controversy about some unhoused folk who are living on some property down by the river, and I would just anticipating some comments that were going to be made today, but haven't had the opportunity to hear them. And, I live in Marion, and I live downtown, as some of you know. And one of the things I really like about where I live is diversity of the people walking up and down the street in front of my home. Okay? And I also walk the River Walk on 2 or 3 occasions every week. doctor's orders. And there is an encampment across from the across the river. And I'm glad they're there, to be honest with you. The property owner doesn't have a problem with it. I think it's a good location for those people to be in. And if some people are opposed to that, they have their own opinion to that. But I think we should be compassionate and we should be tolerant and in this community embrace folk that are having a tough time and help them out whenever we can. And I have one other comment too. I sure would like to see a 3-minute limit on public comments. I think it would make the meetings much more efficient. So thank you very much.
Well, I appreciate your comments. I have elected to use the 5-minute limit, and
Any limit is good as long as it's enforced. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you, Tom. And now we have Lynn White. Lynn White would like to address us. Hi, Lynn. If you'll please approach the podium and give us your name and address.
I'm Lynn White, 501 Virginia Avenue, and thank you for letting me speak tonight. I've lived in the town of Marion for over 40 years and never attended a town council meeting. So this is my first one.
Welcome.
I'm sorry. And so I'm a little nervous, and I have my notes here in front of me, so I don't forget anything. And the time limit, I'm used to it because Mr. Cornett and I were cut off at 3 minutes.
That's why I give you 5. That's why I give you 5.
I don't need 5. Over the past few months, I've seen appreciation months for various groups. Teacher appreciation, law enforcement appreciation, but I didn't know if there was a town appreciation month. So over the past few months, there have been many people in the town capacity that has seen several things. And I just wanted to come. Ms. Spencer gave me the correct terminology, but I call them the sanitation crew. I appreciate the town sanitation people that come by my house, especially they were very kind and helpful to me during inclement weather, and I really appreciate that. And all the help that each person in each department has given me. And I also want to thank all the candidates that are running for town council tomorrow. I know firsthand how very challenging this can be. So thank you to you, town council members. Thank you, candidates that are running, and I wish you the best of luck. And thank you for letting me speak, and if you'll excuse me, I have another commitment to get to.
Ben, thank you very much for your kind comments. It's nice to hear that somebody likes us. And now we're going to move on with J.S. Staley. I saw J.S. earlier. He's in the back there. Okay. J.S., if you'll please take the podium. Thank you, Ben.
I'm J.S. Staley. I live at 337 West Main Street in Marion. A long-time resident of the town. I simply am here to inquire what's going on with the vacancy. I thought we had a little issue last fall, winter, and I thought it was resolved. And now I find out that there are 2 separate encampments on the riverbank without sanitation, without public policy input, certainly a health issue. I thought that I had to have a sewer line hooked up. They got a river that they can use. So I'm just asking a question, what's going on with the vacancy issue in the town of Marion? I heard Mr. Howard's appreciative comments I don't fall in the same camp.
Very good.
I want us to have a clean, neat society for everybody involved. I thought that the investment of $1 million to upgrade some substandard housing was to take care of some of the problems. More glare public nuisance. So I don't have any idea what's going on with the vagrant issue. And I'd like to know what's going on, or direct me to somebody to talk to find out. That's all I've got.
Thank you.
Mr. Staley, thank you. We will definitely take your words into consideration. And moving forward, we have Charles Wassam. Dr. Wassam, if you would.
Thank you. Charles Wassam, Wasona, Marion. Next year will be the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And I think it would be a very good idea for all citizens to read it well enough, study it well enough so that they understand what our founding fathers were trying to do. And focus on that for just a minute or so. We hope to be evident that men are created their Creator, God, with certain unalienable rights. And among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Right. The Virginia Constitution, and before they ever formed the government with the Constitution, they put the rights of the people up there, up front. That was the first thing they did, the rights of the people. And then they formed the government. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. So what is the purpose of government? To secure the rights of individual people. That to secure these rights, governments, who is the government? I understand that the town council governs Marion. Not the staff, but the town council. Governments are instituted among men, driving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Who is the governed? Us out here. According to the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, governments get powers. They don't get rights. Governments are to secure the rights of the people. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the government. If you read the Constitution, what's the first in the U.S. Constitution? It's also, all this is in the Virginia Constitution too, but Article 1, Section 1 reinforces that it's governments that have powers. Article 1, Section 1, all legislative powers herein granted. The people have granted to the government the power to secure the rights of the people. This is the way I read it. I think this is the historical way it was meant. Article 2, what's Article 2? Article 2 of the Constitution says the executive power shall be vested in a president. The executive doesn't have any rights by the Constitution. They have power, the executive power. And the third amendment, the third article in the Constitution the judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court. So I hope in the state of Virginia calls it 250 Virginia, meaning the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. But my interest particularly now is on July the 17th, 2023, 4 people agreed that the town has rights. 2 people said, no, the town doesn't have rights. And I've talked to people about this. There just seems to be a lack of understanding for what's written in the foundational documents in America. People, individuals have rights. They give power to governments to secure those rights. To me, that is the most important job that governments have, that y'all have, is to be sure that our rights are secure. So I hope if we'll just study that over the next year, and we'll be able to celebrate 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, understanding a lot better what our roles are. People have rights, governments has powers. So section 3087 of the town code needs to be adjusted so it reflects the truth. As it stands now, it turns upside down. And throughout the country, throughout the world, people's rights are being overturned. It's getting to the point where they're shifting where the people had rights. Now it's the government that has the rights, and they dish them out to the people. That's the agenda worldwide for evil people. So I hope you'll think about that.
I like that, evil people.
Doctor, thank you very much for your order, please, everyone. Let's keep order, and we'll move forward. And we'll move forward with Pastor Kayla, who I'm sure has something wonderful for us today.
No pressure.
No pressure at all.
I am Kayla Copples, and I am the pastor of Ebenezer Lutheran Church. I live at 102 Sprinkle Avenue. And I wanted to talk as well about the unhoused. I agree with both the gentlemen who spoke before in that, there are some people who aren't ever going to be able to live in homes, whether that is because of mental issues or whatever else, and they will want to continue to live out of doors, and we should try to make that as safe and clean as possible. I can also understand the fear for, health and cleanliness and all of these things, and we want to make sure that the people who are unhoused have access to all the things that they need in order to live fulfilled lives, even outside of being housed. I do want to try and shift the perception in our town and for the wording of the council when speaking about this, to move towards speaking of them as the unhoused instead of as homeless or as vagrants. Vagrancy laws were enacted to kind of point towards people who were poor and unhoused, and a lot of times people who had nowhere else to go, but they were perceived as idle or as undesirables. If you have questions about vagrancy laws, I encourage you to speak to Chief Player, who knows more of the history than I do about it, and why it's not something that is really enacted anymore. But I want to encourage us to look towards solutions for the unhoused community, and what those solutions can look like of all of us working together to help those who do want to be housed again. Myself, Pastor Barbara Doyle, Pastor Emily Edmondson of the Episcopal Church, Pastor Barbara Doyle is of the Methodist Church. and Chaplain Patty McAndrews, also of the Episcopal Church, have been working with a homeless couple, Michael and Samantha Mitchell, for a little over a year now. And it's taken all 4 of us to really help and promote them moving forward and trying to get back their housing. I just recently took Samantha to get cataract surgery, and her cataracts were so bad you could see the white in her pupil. That's how bad it was. And that prevented her from any sort of work. She couldn't get a job doing fast food or working with people because the space is too tight. She wasn't able to see out of her left eye. She has since gotten that surgery and has been vigorously looking for work. It is not because of lack of trying that she is unhoused and without work. She is looking and she is trying, but it is very hard to receive work when you don't have access to showers, when you don't have access to being able to sleep well at night. If you are hungry, these are all things that people need in order to survive and to thrive, because it shouldn't just be about surviving. And I thought my watch go off. I said it for 3 minutes, so I'm going to end here. But I would like to encourage us all to look for a solution together to help our unhoused neighbors thrive and not just survive, and not treat them as undesirables. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate your commentary.
Avery, would it be inappropriate if we could ask social services to directly engage with this issue?
I bet
I don't know if we have, we can discuss, it's okay. Council can discuss this presently if you wish to.
I think Pastor Kayla has tried that, haven't you?
Well, it's, social services is very overwhelmed, and I'm sure Chief Claire can speak to this as well. And it's also building up trust with those who are unhoused. Like I said, we have been in a relationship with Michael and Samantha for well over a year. And it's not just, I don't want people to think that we're just like handing them money. We are actively working with them. And there have been times where we have had to put up boundaries and kind of almost been the bad guy, as it were, to say, hey, you guys need to do these things if you want to push forward. And so it's not just that we're being taken advantage of, or because we're in the church that we're naive to this. It has been hard conversations, but very fruitful and wonderful conversations and wonderful relationship in this. But it is something that will take all of us to do, because yes, there are the core 4 of us who are working with Michael and Samantha, but they are working with Mount Rogers. Michael suffers from schizophrenia, so he works with Mount Rogers. There are members of our congregations who have searched out work for them, who have bought them food, bought them tents, like all these different things, in order to just help them keep going.
It sounds like Department of Social Services needs a little bit of pressure, though, to do a little bit more and to be more proactive. And I think a letter from the town council would be definitely a start, and also to the Marion Housing Authority. And I'm sorry Charlie left here, because I wanted to ask him some questions as well. I mean, I hear constantly that we have nowhere for people to live. I mean, that's people wanting to pay rent without assistance. People that need assistance can't even find somewhere to live. So I think we need to have a conversation. What are these people doing to create more housing? You know, if you don't have anywhere to go, you have no choice.
Right. Yes.
You know, neither do I want, to be honest with you, I don't really want to walk the river walk. And you know that people are using the bathroom in the river, and there's trash everywhere. It's sad. It's sad. So I think the first start is to get these people together and see, you know, with the chief, and because he works with them, you know, they work very close with the unhoused people also. And, you know, they're working on the side, but Town of Marion doesn't have funding for these programs. Social Services does. Marion Housing Authority does. You just heard him say how financial shape that they're in. This is a perfect time to get these people together, and we've got to put pressure on their backs to do something more proactive. So I would like a letter sent from the town council if possible.
You want to put that in a motion?
I would like to put that in a motion.
I'll second that.
Yes. Absolutely.
So we have a motion and a second. I don't think it hurts to state that we would like to find a solution and to help people because I believe that's our motivation.
Yes.
So is there any further discussion needed?
I don't think so.
I believe we'd have to have someone draft said letter and then we would have to approve it. So we would need to go a little bit further than the current motion.
Can I make a suggestion of who we should recommend write that letter?
You absolutely may, as long as it's not me.
Just Mr. Clare.
I agree wholeheartedly. So we have a motion for Chief Clare to draft a letter that would be kind and state our concerns.
I think the way to do that, sir, is, and just to kind of jump into the whole question. So the current question at the Riverwalk, those folks are on private property by invitation of the property owner. And so the first step, if action were to be taken, would be a zoning action, which is notably unpopular. I'm not wrong, am I? It's notably unpopular. Okay, so then the next reasonable step would be engagement by the folks who have the tools, like social services, right? When the police are engaged, you know, from the police perspective, the laws applicable are very narrowly crafted and apply whether you live in a house or whether you don't. Right? It doesn't matter. And so when we're doing it, it's more of a mission of mercy, right? Trying to apply solutions. You know, that these are the only tools the police have. We don't have housing or anything else, right? Kayla and other public servants, you know, or people trying to serve the public have those things. So I haven't had a ton of time to think about it, but if you want to be in a draft letter on your behalf that might ask for a presentation of strategic goals, right? Like what's the plan? And maybe get some kind of engagement like that. But I really appreciate the work that the community itself does, right? The only solution to the unhoused crisis is housing, right? Right. Housing. Everything else is a trade-off or a Band-Aid or something like that. And you heard Kayla, they've been working with Mike and Samantha for a year. The lift is huge. And frankly, you're naive if you don't realize that, right? Like, it's just a huge lift. But how much closer are you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're somewhere, right? Eventually, you're going to win that one.
We were much closer than we were.
You're going to win that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One. Right. And so there's no such thing as like homelessness as a problem. It's just a collection of people all in some different stage of housing insecurity. So I'll type something up and have it to the mayor in the next 48 hours.
That'll be great. I'll make sure that council is completely involved in every step of that. Then we will approve that. We have a motion by Councilman Atwell.
Can I ask one more question? Would it be more appropriate to do this letter in conjunction with Billy? That it's on behalf of?
Oh, I think it should be on behalf of the town council, really. It's a political question.
I'm not so sure that all of you shouldn't sign this letter.
Right.
Yeah, I would like to sign it.
And I think again, it's just, the town council doesn't have the tools. We're not tasked with that.
Right. But we'd like to be part of this
Solution.
I think if you ask for some direct engagement.
I'm wondering if the county should also be involved in a solution for housing. And
Well, that's, we're getting too far off of our task and our subject, and we need to return to the motion that's at hand. Did someone second that motion?
I think I did.
In that form. So we have a motion and second. The motion is that Chief Clare draft something, get it to me. I will get it to you. We will all work on this. We'll look at solutions for everyone's suggestions in this. All in favor, in the affirmative, unanimous vote. Chief Clare, you have your work cut out for you. And thank you, everyone.
Your Honor, if I may, I know no one's going to back the room. I think if there's anybody here who's close to an expert on this, it's Mel. If you don't mind.
I would so much like to be recognized. I have some information that will help.
Yes, by all means, Nolan. It is usually our custom that you sign this public comment form, but you're a very busy man and you are an authority in this.
I was
so
not
we
to
would.
Talk. I just wanted to listen, but as you got to talking, I have some of the answers for some of the questions that have come about. I have, since Thanksgiving 2023, brought these persons that we're talking about into our church, and I have lived with them 24 hours a day. I go home to shower every day, and I'm right back. I'm going to give you some numbers, because I'm a numbers person. But this is just this year, from December the 2nd till today. I've had 80 women and 150 men sleep at least one or multiple nights in our church. Only 20 of them returned from last year. It's a new group. I've had over 700 people come through our church for hot meals that we provide every single night. Different churches, different clubs, different families get together, cook the meals, and bring them in. We've helped over 40 people recover documents. There's a lot of them who won't have jobs because they don't have identification. They don't have birth certificate, they don't have driver's license, don't have an ID. So you have to start with document recovery. With a staff of me, my wife, and my mother. And you heard Pastor Kayla talking about how hard it's been, the four of them working with one couple. We've been doing this with 300 people. I have begged across this community for people to come and help. I will make another plea tonight. Come and see. We have a meal every night at 7 o'clock, and if we're going to make decisions about them, let's move them, because, I'm hearing, as we call them unsheltered, I call them Kim and David and Tyler and Rose, and I know their stories and where they are from, and it's a very complex issue. There's a mental health component. I believe it was Ms. Spencer who was talking about asking Mr. Harrington about the housing program. One of the problems is, because it is a federally mandated program, if any of them have a felony anywhere in their history, automatic denial, and there's nothing they can do. I've already approached them, and we've talked about this. When they put it in the computer, if they have a felony, they're not going to get anywhere with the housing program. So I thought that was information you guys needed to know, since you were asking about that. Now, many of them we have reconnected with family. It is not an outside of this area problem. Out of the 80 women and 150 men who we have served this year, 10 of them have been outside of Smith County. The majority of them are Marion. There are a few from Chilhowie and a few from Sugar Grove. This is not an outside problem. Out of the 10 people who were from out of this area that came through, 5 of them were in a car from Arkansas that broke down. And they were here in town for a month, trying to get their transportation, their car fixed, and they were there with us. It is not, I repeat, it is not an outside problem. These are our citizens, our brothers and sisters from this community. We also did a giveaway, and we had 480 cars come through, and over 2,000 people that got food and supplies. I'm seeing an increase this year of elderly women. Some are handicapped, and my program goes through Sunday. My overnight program goes through Sunday, and when I shut down, you're gonna see an increase of people sleeping. And I'm telling you, if it had not been for that warming center that was there, we would have picked people up off the street. Many of them came through that door in hypothermia. We've dealt with frostbite. We've had people with limbs being amputated all this year, and they're right here. We have a very serious problem here in Marion, Virginia, and it's going to take us all. My wife and I have invested $100,000 of our savings. We have depleted our savings account trying to feed these people. The documents that they have recovered, and I'm gonna sit down because I'm over my 5, we paid out of our own pockets for all the fees that have to be paid to get the birth certificate, driver's license, social security cards. We're running around doing all of that. And my final 2 things I want to say. Number 1, you want to know where they're using the bathroom at? They're coming to my church because I put a porta potty on the side of my church. I know every one of those people that are living in those encampments. They've been sleeping in my floor in the winter. Now that it's warm, they want to be out on their own because they feel bad about sleeping on the floor. They said, we've been here 3 months, we've been here. Some of them were returned from last year. They said, I've been here with you over 1.5 years now. And so they've gotten tense, and they're trying really hard. They come, how do I know that they're showering? The reason why I know they're showering, I didn't have a shower facility at my church. I begged across Facebook for somebody to come and help me with that. I don't have a lot of money to do everything, but somebody could put a shower in, and we had an electrician came and a plumber and got halfway through it, and it still isn't done. So I begged and I begged if any churches, anybody had shower facilities, if they would open them to us. Nobody came forward. But a church in Abingdon, Virginia, Rosedale Baptist Church, 3 days a week, they send their church van from Abingdon to Marion. And those people that we are now learning to call unsheltered, unhome, get on that van, drive all the way to Abingdon, get their showers, drive all the way back to Marion, and then he in turn has to drive the van back to Abingdon because he lives in Chilhowie, he has to drive back. There is a lot of work going on. If you have questions, I promise you, I will know a lot of the answers because I've been there since Thanksgiving 2023. And it's getting worse. And it's going to take every last one of us. So I beg and plead for all of us to help. And if you're going to be making decisions, I'm going to invite you again. Come and see. My overnight sheltering ends this Sunday. And I'm going to do a cookout all day long for them on this Sunday. Come any night this week between 7 and 8 o'clock, and you will watch them eat their meal, and you will see they are happy. You will see, just come and meet them, because it will shift when they go from being them and unsheltered to knowing who they are personally. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely inspiring. Okay, we will continue now with council members' reports, and we'll start with Council Member Gates.
Yes, the makeshift or temporary ordinance committee met, and we still have some questions to finalize the solid waste ordinance, and we do not need to set that for a public hearing, and I'll make a motion that we continue that, and we will have another report back at the next meeting. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion second. Discussion. None being heard, we'll vote. All in favor? Thank you, Doctor.
Nothing else.
Councilmember Spencer?
Yes, the Community Development Committee met Friday on the Tree Commission and the tree planting proposal. We have asked for you to approve a planting of the trees, of course no trees at exit 45, and not to exceed $4,000.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion.
Good.
None being heard, we will vote. All in favor? It is again unanimous.
Is that good? Is that okay?
Anything
all.
further?
No,
Oh,
no, thank you.
Councilmember Jennings.
I just have the Lincoln Theater April newsletter and with the events, and I've given everyone a copy. And I have extra copies if anyone in the audience would like one. I'll put them up here. And that's all.
Wonderful, thank you. Councilmember Atwell.
I have nothing to report on, but back on Mr. Atkins' presentation earlier, I wanted to ask, would it be an issue anytime that we have a closed session on the agenda that we distinctly mark a line item that we will return to open session afterward?
We've already corrected.
Okay,
Good.
thank you.
Thank you.
Anything further?
Anything further?
No,
No.
that's all.
Councilmember May.
I attended the District 3 meeting 2 weeks ago, and I have a survey if anyone would like to take one, and it helps them get funding, and currently they're working on budget, so that's all I have.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I will continue with the mayor's report. I'm going to get you to check this as the vice mayor to make sure that I have addressed everyone that is on that list while I make my report. Do you mind, sir?
I'll add
Okay.
Nolan.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Okay, mayor's report. I have been very busy in the last little while. We've had a 3-week break in between. Been meeting with the VFW. I've had several meetings caring for our community. Participated in Student Government Day. Went to the Chamber of Commerce Job Fair. I wanted to say congratulations to Jordan Provost. Did I get that right, Hunter?
Probst.
Probst. Oh, no, I'm bad with last names. As being Officer of the Year for Marion, and well deserved, and quite an asset to our PD. And just a whole lot of other things going on in Marion. But the bright spot was I saw a group of trail maintenance people out walking. They were beside the Lincoln Theater trying to take their picture by the love sign. And I took their picture and sent them up to the Henderson where they had the luthier class going on. And I had told them about it. And then guess what? They had that class going on. They got the tour. It was wonderful. They had a great time. And we just have a whole lot of good things going on in Marion. And it is a good place to come, a good place to be. Want to welcome all of our viewers that are not here with us, that are on the internet. Would suggest that anybody that can't make it to our meetings, check us out on YouTube. We're doing the best we can to accommodate the new technology as we've spoke. And that's all I will have to say tonight. Thank you all for being here. We're going to move on with the attorney's report.
No report.
No report. We will move on to staff reports. Cindy.
No report.
I'm sorry. No report. Okay. Chief Clare is missing. We'll just put him off for a couple minutes and see if Chief Ham would like to address us. Absolutely. You just did.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, council. Let's talk about some staff updates since we were last here. A couple of our full-time members, Ms. Salyer and Mr. Widener, have completed their firefighter 1 and have tested out for that. They successfully passed all of their skills and are waiting results of the written test. I feel very, very confident that we're going to have those certifications locked in by the next time I come back. Saturday, let me tell you about this past Saturday. We had our candidate testing day. As you are aware, we have a full-time opening. We had about 10 applications that came in, and we invited 7 folks to come for candidate day. 2 of those folks dropped out prior to the day for a couple of different reasons. We had 1 person that didn't show, and then we actually tested out 4 individuals. And we were all very highly impressed with all 4 of these individuals. I think, I stand before you and say if I had 4 openings, I'd hire all 4 of them full-time. That was one really good part of Saturday. The other really good part of Saturday is the men and women of Marion Fire EMS coming together to pull this day off. Just to give you a brief overview, what we did was we did a written test in the morning, and that took a little less than 2 hours. We gave the candidates the opportunity to change. We went down to the track at the high school and did a physical agility day where they had to do a 1.5 miles. They had to do some tool carries. They had to climb the 75-foot quint ladder at a 60-degree angle, and when you get up there, that ladder's doing this right here. And I asked for extra help from our team members that day, and they came out in droves. And we were able to, and later, after we did that, we came back and did the panel interviews, all in one day. Our station was busy, was buzzing, the sun was out, the doors were open. I had a gentleman who was coming to a show at the Lincoln who came and sat in our station and talked for 30 minutes about our 9/11 steel out front. When I came back into the station, there was a man holding a little girl who didn't want to leave because all she wanted to do was look at the ambulances and fire trucks. And our team was surrounding those people and these candidates, and it was just a testament again to the men and women that you have at Marion Fire EMS. As far as station updates go, you may have saw on our social media that we completed hose testing this past week or last week. We did have some failures in that, but it was mainly in the 5-inch supply lines. I'll probably email you guys out a report on that a little bit later. Fingers crossed that new ambulance that's been put off for various reasons is going to roll into this town tomorrow morning. So we're super excited about that. It will take us a couple of weeks to get that thing licensed and get it on the road. And that'll probably be what I drive to the next council meeting, so we all can go out and take a look at it. As far as call totals go, my in-house statistician, Mr. Talley, informs me that in the month of March, we had 232 responses. Year-to-date, we're at 636. And that's about 3.7% lower than the previous year. It goes without saying, you guys know, you hear, you see, there's some days that we have 2 to 4 calls, and there's some days that we have 15 to 20 calls. You just never know. So that's all I have for today, and hello to everybody at home on YouTube. I'm glad to see that, get some more interaction in. So does anybody have any questions?
You're a star.
That's right. Thank you all.
Thank you. Let's move back to Chief Clare.
Yes, sir. Just a few things to mention. One, it seems I'll be drafting a letter to deliver to you and in the name of the council, talking about addressing helping out our unhoused residents here in Marion. We had our VFW Officer of the Year Awards. Thank you so much for coming, and we understand if you couldn't make it, our officer was Jordan Probst. Jordan Probst was at the other end of the road from a firefighter who went into a rushing river to pull out a boy, and he was given critical services and survived. And so thank the Lord we had no, to my knowledge, we experienced no loss of life during that event. And that's Officer Probst, and we'll bring him to a future council meeting. And then in August, we're going to have our officers who were on the scene of the death of Hunter Reedy will receive Valor Awards in Williamsburg on behalf of the BACP. On May the 3rd, we have a fishing event at the park. This is where police officers, firefighters, EMS personnel, the river is stocked specifically for the event. We go down and kind of teach the kids how to fish. It's a really, really good time. I don't teach it. Rick and Bill and people like that teach me. And then on May 17th, we have a 5K here in Marion, a Blue Line 5K. The proceeds of that go to benefit critical incident stress management programs that are here in the area. And one of the other things that has come up recently is, and I can't remember the name, I wish Kayla was still here, the Lutheran retreat at Hungry Mother Park has been offered at no cost to Adam Levins with Virginia Law Enforcement Action Partnership to offer a retreat for officers like who were involved in the murder of Hunter Reedy to receive critical services. So that's going to be kind of a marquee program. Right now they have to drive to kind of Virginia Beach to do that. We're going to be to offer some of that here for folks in our region. So unless there are any questions, that's all I've got. Sir.
Could you explain real quick the cameras on the lights downtown Main Street?
Which one?
So I think there was a thing on social media going around, Hunter, I think you knew more about it than I do, that it's, I think they're questioning exactly what those cameras are for and if they're monitored.
So there's two, to my knowledge, two sets of camera, well, I don't even know if that's true. Let me start again. In 2020, we were told that VDOT was going to make changes to our traffic light system downtown. We assumed that would happen in a somewhat timely way. So we installed traffic monitoring cameras on behalf of the town for a couple of reasons. One, for that. Two, for the public events that we have, so we've got good situational awareness. Remember, this was also during the social unrest that we had in 2020. We were looking for some tools there. And those have been in place for about 4 years. The most recent install, so now they finally, I guess, decided to do what they said they were going to do then, 4 years later. The most recent install, I don't have a ton of details on. I think one piece is the light override system for fire. Correct. Where they have a device in the cab that will change the lights. I think another piece is a light override system for VDOT to help keep Route 11 clear during traffic shutdowns. I'm well beyond my technical skills.
Basically, when 81 is closed for an accident, you reroute your traffic. Most of you seen bumper to bumper tractor trailers for 2 or 3 hours at a time coming through town. This signal upgrade will allow them to put the signals on flash to keep traffic flowing.
There's some kind of camera component to that, but I have no idea what it is.
I mean, they can monitor traffic flowing and things like that. My understanding is that we're getting some phase upgrades also in our cabinets. The phases is that's your time differential between each intersection, and I think they've already installed some flashing yellow arrows, so we didn't have them before. So we're getting some signal upgrades as they go along, but the cameras and all that is strictly VDOT doing that.
And ours, just, and I know, I hope Dr. Wasson would appreciate it, so I feel like I'm pretty sensitive to civil liberties. They have no LPR capabilities, no facial recognition capabilities, no sound capabilities, no object tracking capabilities. They've been deliberately positioned so you can't see traffic signals. They've been deliberately positioned so that you do not have views of areas commonly, not commonly observable. They're only retained for about, the footage is not consistently monitored, and it's only retained for about 7 days. The times of most usage would be like during the chili cook-off. We put that up in the incident command. We have some situational awareness views. We feel like that's important for active shooter threats, vehicle-boarded threats. I think some of our defense attorneys wish that it was held longer, because we get requests for like traffic accidents especially. You know, it's like you get in an accident and you work out a deal with someone, like, oh, it's all fine, and then a week later they decide that they didn't do it like they said they did it, and then they request the footage, and again, it's been overridden. It has been useful in some crimes. We recently had a town citizen who was defrauded of several $1,000s. We were able to identify the vehicle that left her home. There was I think an RV that ripped the drive-through off the McDonald's, and we were able to identify that vehicle. There was an accident recently where the parties disputed kind of what happened, and we kind of just barely able to catch that. But one of our town residents just lied flat out about what they did and tried to turn that poor woman into the offender when she was innocent. And so those are just a few examples. It's not overly useful for evidence stuff because again, it's just kind of a passive monitoring, but it's really useful for a situational awareness tool. And I think that we've got restrictions in place that recognize the need for certain technology, but also my own personal, you know that things like license plate readers are very prolific. If you saw the article in Cardinal News, we don't have them. And I think that's important because I think a lot of folks in the region here are very concerned about privacy. And so I sent Billy a couple of views. I don't know if you want to pull it up. One of them,
Let me try to find it.
just to give you a sense of what it looks like. And in terms of monitoring, listen, if the town council wants to provide a monitoring link, I'm ambivalent to that. Oh, it's right here. Yeah. That's not it. That's not it.
That's not it?
Nope.
Oh, that's what I sent you. Right there it is, camera image,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
So this is an image. That's an example of what we see. They have no pan tilt zoom. There is some electronic zooming, but it gets so pixelated by that time. It's hard to tell, but that's just one example. And then there's a video. Do you guys remember a while back, we had a citizen come in. He was concerned that we were chasing a motorcycle. He was absolutely certain about what he saw. Well, we invited that citizen to then observe the camera footage, and that's not what he saw. What he saw was something else. So here's an example of the moving footage downtown. And again, if citizens have a desire, I guess, for some kind of access to it, to me that's an IT question. I don't care.
If I may for a moment, when I was at the police department, I actually helped write this grant. This was all grant funded. And I will say, as far as the open link to view it, the system itself is somewhat unreliable because it's based off of cell phone service. So that's why instead of seeing cars that look like they're just going, that's why you see a car every few seconds, every few frames. So if we attempted to do a link, which I'm open to as well, but I just wanted everyone to be aware that if that ever occurred, the overload to the system that may occur may render them inoperable.
How many users do you have?
I mean, what?
Users. If anybody in this room came in, would shut down.
Well, I can say that on my computer, on my laptop, when I run the program to watch it, I have to turn an extra fan on my laptop computer because it spins so much and gets so hot, like you can start smelling my laptop computer. And when I was at PD and let's say Sergeant or Wes Thomas was in his office and he was viewing it, there was oftentimes that only one of us could watch a video at a time. So just be aware of that before we start throwing out links and promises that I don't think it would work.
So again, I know there are concerns about things like cameras, and I feel like my instincts are to guard civil liberties. Maybe not everybody would agree with the compromise that I feel like we have, but I don't feel like it's a bad one, and I think it avoids certainly some of the most problematic data collection. No license plates, no faces, no anything. And I don't have any problem at all with transparency steps. If we want to create some kind of IT interface that's way outside of my knowledge base, that's fine. But it has had some use for us, and it continues to. Some of them are reaching their service life. There's trouble with the cabinet that kind of holds it overheats, and so there's some trouble with stuff like that. But if anybody has questions on that, please let me know.
Well, thanks for answering the question.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chief. Anything else? Anything else?
Oh, I didn't start that one.
I know you didn't. That's why I'm just Kindly moving on. And next we have Ken Heath with Economic
If you
Development.
don't mind, we'll stay seated for another month or so, then after that I'll be able to get up.
Absolutely.
Election day is tomorrow. 3 precincts are open wherever you normally vote, the town of Marion, East Park at Marion Rec, Wasona at Marion Senior High School, and Royal Oak East at the Marion Police Station. So make sure you go out and vote for town council. April 9th, the EDA meeting this Wednesday at noon, Marion Police Department. April 14th is an update on the Steel Park program. We're going to have another meeting at Mount Pleasant at 6 p.m. We've received some renderings that Greg and his group have put together about what they'd like to see, and I've asked them to put together priorities. I've also asked Tony and the group to go out there and kind of take some paint and mark off those areas. I think that once folks get out there and you see the space, and you start feeling how big a basketball court is on that space, it's like me trying to put on your britches. They ain't gonna fit. So that's what we're going to be into, I think, in a lot of this. So I think once we see things out there, it'll change, and the design that Greg provided that got together and met seems pretty reasonable. It seems like hopefully we'll be able to afford it, and Dr. Gates has helped us get the grant on that, so I think we'll be able to get a nice park out of that. April 15th, Senator Mark Warren will be at the Lincoln, 11:30 to 12:30 for a meeting just like this, for you to come and express your views. And then April 19th, Hazardous Material Day at the trade school, Lake 1. So if you have any hazardous materials, make sure you take them down.
When was that again?
April 19th, Saturday. The other thing we're going to be doing is starting next Friday, we received a grant from Virginia Main Street to do a community visioning. We'll do 3 things. It'll do a market analysis to show us where the markets are headed. And that's anybody's guess at this point, internationally, nationally, but at least be able to look at our markets here, our businesses, how they can be better and solidify their business, and hopefully help us recruit new businesses to come in as well. They'll be looking at the physical plant of downtown, the downtown district, our trees, our streets, and everything else. Chad, that's why I was asking for your notes on that, because I want to include that. The biggest part of that, we're going to have a series of meetings at the Lincoln Theater inviting public comment. What do you want to see Marion look like in the next 10, 20 years? And I'll be down there just to the point to open up the meeting, and I'm going to leave. Not because I don't want to be there to hear what you have to say, but I don't want folks looking and saying, Ken, what do you think? Because I've done this for 30 years. I want this to be a community-driven project, where at the end of it, we'll have a market analysis to show how businesses can be successful and how we can make our current business successful, and also new businesses to recruit. We'll have the tools to make downtown more accessible, more traffic worthy for parking. We're talking about parking, we're talking about lighting, we're talking about signage. And then also we'll have what this community wants to see and the priorities. And then we'll hopefully come up with some goals, 1 year, 5 year, 10-year game changers that we can work on as a community. As those of us that are dinosaurs that are ready to retire and move on in a couple of years, we want to be able to clean the rocks out of the path, so that the people that come after us can make this community bigger and better than we can ever dream it can be sitting in this room here tonight. And the way for us to do that is to use the knowledge we have gathered over the time we've been here, and let the people coming up with the youth a little bigger be able to pick that up and run. So, as those are announced, they'll be later this fall. I appreciate all the comments you do. We'll probably do some surveys at the events and things downtown as well. And the more opinions that you guys come and express, the better this product will be. The last thing I want to do, Your Honor, is congratulate Tony on being named assistant manager. I know that Lynn White was in here thanking the public works crew. But we've got a heck of a team here with the town of Marion. All the snow that was removed, as bad as this winter was, I dare say that the one you did better than your crew getting rid of the snow. I appreciate it.
We have a heck of a staff, Public Works, everybody all the way around. Super duper. And speaking of them, Todd Long. I'm sorry, you're out of order. I'm sorry, you're out of order. There's no comments right now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to give everybody a quick update. Friday, we had 50 subscribers to our new YouTube channel. I just looked before I walked up here. We got 105 as of right now. The video that was uploaded on Friday with the mayor's welcome has been viewed 766 times. as you said in that message, I mean, there's gonna be some hiccups, there's gonna be some things that humps and bumps in the road. We're gonna work through that. I'd like to apologize to Mr. Atkins. Certainly didn't mean to burn any bridges. We certainly didn't mean to step on anybody's toes by doing this. It was a council's decision, and we went the council route. We may have to revisit it sometime. And, certainly don't mean to burn any bridges with Mr. Atkins. Some planning commission updates. This coming up next Monday, we're going to be talking about some stuff that the council has referred to planning commission with the livestock regulations and the fence height in the front yard. After that meeting, I will report back to you all on that. They was talking about streaming some of the intersection cameras. I think that would require opening up a port. The biggest part with that is some of the latency in it is the upload speeds on the Comcast modems that we have at each of the traffic signals. You can get a lot of download, but it's hard to get a lot of upload. And the size of the videos that we try to upload, that's why when you've seen it look jumpy, it's just the upload speeds from that intersection was it can't handle the traffic that it has to push through to get back to here, then out to that. But if that's something council wants to entertain, we'll find a way to do it. We always do. I just appreciate y'all's support. I want to congratulate Tony as well, assistant town manager. You got a good one. And we're all going to work together. Nothing's going to change here. And I just appreciate all the support. Any questions you got, I'll be happy to answer.
Todd, I have one. Can you go over the camping ordinance with us again, refresh us?
Sure. So I think the camping ordinance said you had to be related to the property owner. And I'm doing this from memory, so it's been a minute. I think you had to be related to the property owner. You could camp for 72 consecutive hours. You had to have a sanitation facility available 24/7. And there were some other things in there, Trish. I can certainly look back at that and report more to you for the next meeting. I don't have my phone on me, I'm sorry. I'd have to go back and look at it. But there were some things in there that really related to family camping and stuff like that. But the biggest thing was the sanitation facilities and of course, the trash and the debris and other stuff that comes along with camping in some cases.
And are we enforcing that?
No, we're not.
And how come?
Well, as you've heard from some of the citizens here tonight, zoning is an issue right now. Whenever we propose this stuff, we propose for what we feel like is the highest and best use for everybody in town. Let's make Marion a better place to work, live, and play. That's been our motto for 3 years now. I hate that I gotta come and ask council every time we get ready to enforce things, is this okay? It shouldn't be like that, but with today's environment, we almost feel like we have to. It's almost like we gotta have your blessing for everything. I wish it wasn't like that, but that's where it's at now. But if you all would like for me to enforce that, at your discretion, I certainly will.
Well, why did we do it if we're not going to enforce it? I'm just curious. I mean, with all the ordinance, we've had other people complain about signs, and I'm just curious how we pick and choose.
Well, I don't like picking and choosing. I either like to do it or I don't like. I'd like to have your blessing to enforce it all. Just like the last meeting I came and I addressed the solid waste, and I think Dr. Gates said, let's look at it before we do that. I want to get out in front of that to keep birds, cats, dogs, animals from tearing up bags that's not in trash cans open without going all over the neighborhood. I can tell you, prior to the last council meeting, I don't remember the exact date, I probably had 2 or 3 calls where animals had gotten into just bag trash that tore open and blown all over their yards. We get that every month.
Every week.
Every week. But all you got to do is give me the go ahead, and I'm very proactive, and I'll be happy to enforce everything as we interpret it.
If I can mention something, and someone spoke this to me at one point in time. The speed limit's 25. But we don't give people tickets until they hit 32, something like that. Laws are made to be enforced, but some of them apply to what I want to call egregious circumstances. Discretion is the greater part of valor. Just my opinion, and I'm only one person. But applying the letter of the law to every citizen seems a bit excessive to me. I don't think you should have to ask every time you apply the law either. I believe we're all reasonable people, and we know when a situation needs to be corrected. My opinion.
Does the one at Riverbend need to be corrected?
That's not my question to be answered.
But we need to be consistent with everybody, and that's what we are doing, right? I mean,
That's really why I've not gone out. And I can tell you, I've had complaints, not so much of the camping, but the trash that they're making, the debris that they're putting down over toward the, and I'm not even talking about this area here, I'm talking about another area. It's a lot of trash that they're putting down over at the riverbank, and I have not addressed that yet, but it is on my radar. If you give me permission, I'll certainly go do it.
Well, so I understand the unhoused are not the ones you're going after. You'd be going after the property owner, correct? He's the one responsible.
By law, I have to go after the property owner.
So have you addressed the property owner about the trash?
So the police department did some engagement down there and spoke with the property owner. He wants those residents there because he knows they have nowhere else to go. And he won't tell them to leave. He's very adamant that he wants them there.
Well, then don't we have ordinance in place if you have a campground? Don't we have things you have to have for a campground?
Commercial campground, yes, ma'am.
So isn't that considered a campground? Would he not need to go about making that a campground area?
In my opinion, it would not be considered a commercial campground trash.
Why?
Because commercial is transfer of money. And I think the state code actually does mention up to a number of, I won't say more than 2, which it is down there, but there's still no money changing hands, there's no retail value there.
well, what provision has he made for a restroom for
Or picking up the trash?
Yeah, I can't answer that. I have not made contact with the property owner yet.
Folks, if you want to refer this to a committee, I think that would be the appropriate action.
What committee would it be?
What is council's pleasure?
Would that be more recreation with the park? Or, I mean, it wouldn't really be streets, but it does involve sanitation. Do you have a suggestion, Billy?
Community improvement.
We don't have a committee for community improvement.
What's your committee?
Economic development.
I am not currently allowing comments from,
I'll be
you have to
happy to take it
understand.
I'll be happy to take it to my committee.
And your committee, which one?
I'm on the
Recreation?
police committee
Police.
and the economic committee. And
If you want to take it into your wheelhouse, absolutely.
I'll be
This
happy to
isn't
do that.
contradictory to what we said about you writing the letter and us wanting to be part of the solution, is it?
No, I don't think so. I think there's certainly an immediate discussion to be had on the enforcement of the camping ordinance or not. I'm not sure I'm leaving this meeting with a clear understanding. Unless I'm missing something. It sounds like something we need to talk about. But that's a solution that's this far. So if the property owner was notified that he was violating the zoning ordinance willfully, because he actually wants that there, right? Then what action is there to take? He would get the ordinance, he would get the zoning violation, he would maybe appeal that to the
Board of Zoning Appeals.
to the Board of Zoning Appeals, and then some discussion would go on there. None of the folks who are staying there are committing any offense whatsoever. And then if he refuses, then what happens?
If he refuses after, I think it's 15 days, it just goes through the same process all the other zoning non-compliance does, it would go to court.
So I guess it would end up in court, but that solution, well, first of all, that's not a solution. But that process is just those steps. So I think if we're gonna get something closer to a solution, certainly engaging with social services is the only answer.
Right.
As ill-equipped or underfunded as they may be, that's the only answer.
What about Mount Rogers? I know they have.
So they're doing a lot of
programs.
engagement. I think it's more of a question of vision. Who in the social service field has the vision to do the engagement and to actually move the needle? We see that Kayla had vision, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah,
she's working with
absolutely.
one group of people. I think Nolan's got some vision. I think there are people in the community with the vision for it, but maybe we need to find those same people in the social service that have the vision and the drive to do something.
And I think by enforcing the zoning helps push this needle slightly. Maybe it's temporary, but, I mean, unless we
But
do
they'll have to go-
something, nothing is ever gonna get done. I mean,
They'll have to go somewhere.
they'll have to go somewhere.
If
I mean, they'll be
I
back on
may,
these sidewalks.
if I may mention that Mr. Finnick may have information regarding the disposition of moving these people.
Well, your town manager has just told you that if you move them, if you cause the property owner an expense that that property owner doesn't want to bear, then that property owner will say, you can't be here, you're trespassing. So they will go to another area, whether
They
that's.
don't have a choice, right? I mean, they're humans, they can't stop being
Yeah.
humans. So they're gonna go somewhere.
They're gonna go in behind businesses. I've had them behind my business with their clothing and.
I really am trying to enforce the rule of not engaging with the public at this point in time. I'm very sorry. I don't want to, this is a discussion with council and staff. More than welcome to comment at a later date. So, Ms. Spencer.
Yes. What is your question?
We have left this as you wanting to take this into your committee. Do you have a second, or is that a motion?
I'll be happy to make a motion to take it to a committee, but I don't think it's necessary, to be honest with you. I think it almost needs to be decided now, whether we want to enforce these camping laws or not.
I hear no second to your motion.
Was that a motion?
Yes, that's a motion
To take
to enforce the camping laws.
You need to rescind, you have a motion on the floor already with no second. Do you want to rescind that motion to refer it to a committee?
Sure, yes.
Motion rescinded.
I make a motion that we enforce the camping laws.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Do we need discussion?
Probably, yeah. I mean,
Then please, discuss.
I agree with what Ms. Spencer has said, but then on the other hand, what do we do with these humans once they are told to leave? Is there any responsibility? Maybe Chief Clare, maybe you can answer this question. Do we have any responsibility there I mean, I don't know the answer to it. It's a tough decision.
There's not an answer. There are only trade-offs. The only solution to people not having homes is people having homes. There's no other solution.
Right.
So everything else is a trade-off. It would seem the current trade-off is a piece of property at Riverbend. So that means if that's eliminated, there will be a trade-off somewhere else, perhaps behind businesses. The reality is that they can't be teleported into a different dimension. They're human beings who do human being things. They sleep and eat and go to the bathroom, and they can't stop doing that. And so perhaps if we were to inform Smith County Social Services that this area has become untenable, and ask for direct engagement in, kind of a righteous relocation, maybe.
Well, do these humans have rights that Dr. Wasson was talking about?
They're all from here too, by the way.
I beg your pardon?
They're all from here. Mike and Samantha are here too.
Yeah.
They're all from here.
All right. What's the difference in their rights and our rights? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm just torn. I don't want them to be behind your business. I want them to have housing, but I don't know how to go about that. I think we need more people involved in it. And I know Pastor Kayla is working very hard with other community leaders. I think that's what we need to do, is get the community leaders together and try to come up with a solution. That's why I think the county also needs to be involved.
But as long as we let them stay there, no needle will be moved, because social services is content with them staying there. Marion Housing Authority is content with them staying there until we start being a little bit aggressive. And I hate it, honestly, I hate it, but.
Well, it'll be, the property owner has to be aggressive. Remember, the people who are staying there have committed no crime.
Right.
Only the property owner is in violation of the zoning ordinance.
Yeah.
So
This is where low rental comes in.
when notified of it, he'll have a decision to make. He'll either make his property comply by asking them to leave, or he will not. And if he does not, then Todd will take the next step, and then maybe he'll appeal that. And so certainly not something that's going to happen overnight, but the owner would have to decide to either, and then what if the owner just takes the charge? No amount of camping ordinance violations result in public hanging, right? Like it just is what it is, right? There's no escalation level to, just making it. What if he decides to take the charge? Then I guess we do it again.
That's my motion.
It's just a very, very tough situation to be in, because there's no really good answer.
No answer, period.
Well, we can be here all night talking about it and never get it solved, but we have a motion and a second. And we have had discussion. Do we want to discuss further?
I'd just like the motion reread.
Yeah, I would too.
Yes, Ms. Spencer made a motion, seconded by Mr. May, a motion to enforce the camping laws.
I will mention that those camping ordinances have not been produced to your satisfaction. Remember earlier in the meeting, we had asked that Mr. Long present us with those camping ordinances. So we're making a motion at this point in time to enforce ordinances that we do not know. Do we want to clarify those motions?
I think.
Or those ordinances, rather?
I think both camping have come to a public hearing, is that correct?
Yes.
And you all have taken action on them, so I believe they're adopted already.
Could you read in the minutes the camping ordinance?
As far as the minutes,
No, what we have in the ordinance for the camping.
I'm trying to find it.
Let me get my phone, I can read it to you.
In the interest of time, since we cannot produce these.
I got it right here.
Okay.
This took me a minute. It says camping on private properties. Camping on private property is allowed in the town of Marion with the following restrictions. There must be a camping unit, tent, travel, trailer, RV, etc. Only one camping unit per service building located on the same parcel or parcels that are contiguously owned by the owner. The service building must have working sanitary facilities available 24 hours a day for the people camping on your property. Camping is allowed for 72 consecutive hours, example, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. People can only camp on the property they own or related to the owner. No more than 4 people can camp in a camping unit simultaneously. Primitive camping is prohibited. A service building with working sanitary facilities is required. And then it goes on to commercial campgrounds, which I don't think really applies to this situation.
And could you tell us the penalty for failure to adhere to this ordinance?
Well, what would happen is we have to write the property owner, property owner notice of violation. Normally the precedents we set is we send them an initial letter saying, we've noticed this happened on your property. Can you meet with us and let us know your plan, what's going on here? If they don't meet with us, most of the time they do, but if they don't, then we send them the first notice of violation, which gives them 15 days to correct the issue.
I'm asking the monetary
So the
damages.
monetary, I believe it would be a class 3 misdemeanor, so it would be up to $500 fine.
And how often can this $500 fine be applied?
Daily.
Daily. So you're looking at a $500 fine, and with non-compliance that, but the court would have to enforce that. Is that correct?
So the court would be the one that would have the ability to go up to a $500 fine.
Or whatever they feel is appropriate. Is that correct?
Right, the court could find them guilty and have no financial penalty.
Okay. So now we know what we're voting on.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Okay, so the rights of humans are okay as long as our codes and zoning issues are enforced.
Can you ask that question again?
I'm not clear.
I'm just hung up on if everybody has rights that Dr. Wasson was talking about, citizens' rights. Well, they are citizens, right? Is that? And I don't want to belabor this, but I have a real problem with where will they go?
That's kind of a question I'm thinking is if we run them from this place, they're going to go to Wasona. They go from Wasona, they're going to go to somewhere else,
Right.
and you're just going to chase them all around town. I mean,
Point of order, you may withdraw your second.
Well, I get that. I'm seeing a problem here, and would we not be better off asking, someone like from social services come to have a discussion with us next council meeting, invite them, and then see what the best outcome for everyone is in this situation.
So we have a motion and a second. You can withdraw your second. That will kill the motion. Or it will open the floor to a second from another council member. or we can take the motion and the second, and we can go ahead and take it to a vote.
I'll rescind my second.
Please let the record show that Mr. May rescinds his second. Is there anyone else on this council who would like to second that motion? Then the motion dies on the floor. We'll move on. Town manager's report.
I'm gonna be real quick. Radio read, as of April 1st, we had installed 1,186 radio read meters. That's almost a third of what we anticipate. I had Housing Authority reappointments, but Charlie was here and did that first. In your packet, I had the bid where I put the mowing of the Round Hill Cemetery out for bid. Let me find it. In your packet, I had the list of bidders.
It's page, let's see, page 22.
Yeah, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, we had 5 bidders. One of them was rejected due to the fact that they didn't price it the way that we had asked. The low bid was Elite Property Care at $43,000 for this season. Advertised it 3 times in the Smith County News, had it on the website, had all the procurement hoops jumped through. Would like to ask council at this time to consider awarding the mowing contract to Elite Property Care.
Do you need a motion?
I think, yeah.
I'll make that motion to award the mowing to Elite Property Care in the amount of $43,000.
I'll second it.
Motion and second. Staff's advising to accept this contract. Any discussion?
Billy, they are bonded, correct?
Yes, I have their insurance information.
I saw that.
They've got the business license. Tony has met with them and talked to them, and they seem very capable of doing the job.
All right, motion and second. Any further discussion? Let us vote. All in favor? Unanimous?
Thank you all.
Motion carries.
We're cutting it close. I'm getting that started, so I appreciate it. WNL was scheduled to be here today, but it rained, so.
They're here.
They're here.
They just can't start till tomorrow.
Okay, they're here. They just can't start till tomorrow.
Pray for a sunny day.
We hope to work on the Park Drive-in concrete while the pavers are in town, so we can have them to pull over that and patch it. I have here in Market Street bids have been sent to DEQ for their approval. I got word today and sent you all a copy of the approval letter from DEQ, so we're good to go on the Market Street project. I think Hunter had asked me what the projected time was. We're thinking it's gonna be September, early fall. It takes, even if we order everything, it takes about 3 months for them to build all the concrete structures that we're gonna need, so it's probably gonna be fall before we can actually get started on it. That's basically all I have.
You said pavers are in town. Does that mean Staley Street?
Yes.
Rose Close?
Oh, thank goodness.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Nobody wants it no quicker or faster than we do.
Billy, the Park Boulevard Phase 2, I think everyone has been informed about that. I'll make a motion that you work with VDOT to whatever needs to be done to not proceed with that at this point.
Okay.
I'll second that motion. All in favor? Anything else, council?
Yes, I would just like to make a comment. I understand so much about what Ms. Spencer has said, but I think that we have tried to do something tonight because we're writing that letter, I think that's a start. And I would like to ask Billy to have someone at social services come to our next meeting that maybe we could talk to and find out what they can do.
That is an invitation. Do we need a motion for that? No, just an invitation. So if there's nothing further, I need a motion for us to adjourn.
I make that motion.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor? We stand adjourned.